The holder of perspective, object 26 of 538. James didn't believe any of it. He walked in half embarrassed, already composing the story he'd tell about wasted time. He was wrong. Tonight's story is different from the others. We follow someone into the ritual in real time, watch his skepticism crack on a staircase that climbs far higher than any building should allow. He almost made it. He saw almost everything. Almost isn't enough. And what remains of James now is a permanent part of someone else's collection. This is Object 26. James stepped into the mental institution, instructions in hand. He didn't expect this ridiculous ritual to work at all, but after all, the only thing he had at risk was about an hour's wasted time and maybe a little embarrassment. He approached the woman working at the reception desk and asked in a quiet whisper if he could visit the one who called himself the holder of perspective. What happened next surprised him a little. The receptionist nodded her head solemnly, just as the instructions said she would. Okay, he thought. Apparently I'm not the first one to pull something like this. Chances are she's read these things and is just playing along. Maybe she'll lead me back to their break room or whatever, just so she can show off to her coworkers the latest idiot who walked in, asking for something stupid. Let them all have a good laugh. God, why did I think this had the slightest chance of working? His rambling, self-deriding thoughts were silenced, however, when she unlocked the chain double doors and he saw the long, narrow stairs leading up far higher than the building should have physically allowed. Holy shit, these things are actually real. James ascended the stairs with caution. As expected, once he reached a certain height, he began to see images projected onto the walls. They were the largest and deadliest disasters of humankind. The destruction of Pompeii, the ravages of the Black Plague, the Holocaust, 9/11. The images showed these tragedies through the eyes of each and every victim. It was all James could do to prevent being consumed by sorrow and grief, but he knew well the price for letting himself succumb to despair. Besides, beyond his wildest expectations, he'd already made it this far. He couldn't let himself fail now. After a long and tiring climb, he finally made it to the top of the stairs, where an ornate marble wall with several tiny eye-shaped glass windows awaited. He remembered his instructions and put his left eye into the window with a perfect vertical crack down the middle. In an instant, his viewpoint shifted from his own body to that of an ancient man in an oval stone chamber. The man was using his slender, bony fingers to trace patterns over a large glass eye. James felt his grasp on his own mind weakening, so before he lost his mind completely, he thought, as hard as he could, how will they see the end? In an instant, thousands of images started flashing before his eyes. They were images of the same scenes he'd viewed in the hall, only this time they were from the eyes of outside observers. Feelings of apathy, grief, and joy flooded him all at once. The last image he saw was of an endless inferno. At this, there was no emotion other than sheer, unbridled horror. Already physically and mentally drained from the journey up to this point, James could no longer handle the strain and collapsed where he stood. Another poor seeker who couldn't handle my visions. Very few have the mental strength for it, you see, and for good reason. No ordinary person was ever meant to witness the vision of the end, and certainly not an amateur like that one. I'll dispose of his body and place his soul inside my glass eye, where he will join the thousands of others who have failed. My glass eye is object 26 of 538. It awaits someone capable of viewing the world through their perspective. James's soul is inside a glass eye now, one of thousands, and the holder narrates his disposal with the tired patience of someone who has done this so many times, it no longer registers as tragedy. This one still chills me because it's told from the inside. We are James, right up until we aren't anymore. The disasters on the walls seen through every victim's eyes. The inferno seen through the eyes of those who simply watched. And at the end, only horror, no other emotion left. Never seek this holder if you carry grief you haven't fully set down. Tell me, if you pressed your eye to that cracked glass and saw the end coming, do you think you'd be one of the thousands who fell? Or do you believe, the way James believed, that you'd be different? That's tonight's story. Another object. They must never come together. Thank you for staying with me. If this one appeals to you, like this video and comment below. Subscribe so you don't miss the next story. I will see you soon. Sleep carefully. The next story will be waiting.